That's true.
But
But
my
my
point is, like,
I
I think you gotta see a lot.
Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker.
I'm not saying
General
that's
election last month, Warnock
Hey.
led Walker by about 37,000 votes out of almost 4 million cast.
Did Herschel Walker win, did they say?
A majority, which led to today's runoff.
Fox and Tanya J. Powers, more than 1.8 million ballots were cast early in Georgia. 3 Russian
No.
service members were reported killed in Ukrainian drone strikes in Russia.
Moscow said 2
I think you're
aircraft were
interesting.
hit, and the governor in the
you
Kherson
know that?
region said another attack took place there early on Tuesday. It's confirmed it will be an escalation of Ukrainian attempts to defend their territory. One of the airfields hit.
How's the trip up, guys?
Harry,
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
it all raises questions about the effectiveness
Seriously.
of Russian air
Seriously.
defense.
Fox John Savage dogs.
Absolutely beautiful.
I'm listening to Fox.
Foggy
Oh, was there some fun?
fog. I didn't see any. I was trying to drive my car. Just kidding. I didn't see any. But I'd like to see them there. You know what I mean? Actually, I can. Actually, I can. My car is, it's beautiful. It'll self-steer for long periods of time. Seriously, I can put it at 90 cruise control and put this thing and not touch the wheel.
Sure. Privilege. The company is appealing the state's rejection of a Utah Lake Islands project. Lake Restoration Solution is behind the project to dredge and build islands on the lake. The company is asking the Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands to reconsider its rejection of the plan. The division claimed the company's plan did not pass constitutional muster, but Lake Restoration Solutions says the plan's in line with Utah state law.
Utah
Judge
judge
has
said
yet
to stopping a
a
lawsuit involving
congressional redistricting boundaries. Third District Court Judge Diana Gibson scheduled the trial to start in May, this month after she rejected a request to dismiss the lawsuit outright. Some voters of Utah suing the state legislature claiming the illegal gerrymandering of Salt Lake City.
After
Crash on Monday morning. Authorities say it happened after
Sheriff Office Liaison,
Daryl Cashin says the man was about 80 to 100 feet down. The rescue was difficult.
All right, we're gonna record this. Did you do a mustache? I'd love to see a mustache.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. Here we are. Jesse's going to tell us about, as we talk about Cedar City real estate. The question for today's show is: has the real estate Cedar City real estate market stabilized? We're going to answer that question. That's some really interesting information for you. Jeremy Larkin here, host of the Cedar City Real Estate Morning Drive, with my right-hand man, Jesse Paul, who I picked up, who doesn't look at all like a hitchhiker right now. It's actually a good-looking sweater you got on, by the way. But at the time on the freeway, he did with the black beanie and the head. But it was the headset over the beanie. It fully looked like it.
I was standing on the corner waiting.
Standing, literally, like standing in almost in the lane of traffic off of the highway.
I knew he was running late. I thought I'll be thoughtful and just so he doesn't have to pull all the way down here to get me. So I walked
No, Jesse, listen, Jesse.
I did look like I was hitchhiking.
Yeah, and the best part is Jesse is obsessed with being on time. Guys, did it look like we were late today? Yeah. Anyway,
No, that's
I was like walking around the building going, man, what do I do with all this extra time?
It's true.
There's a lot of time. Okay, guys, we're with the Larkin Group. KW Realty is our brokerage affiliation. We have to do that to be legal. Here's your winter webcams. It looks like 2 inches of new snow at Bryan Head overnight. We were hoping they'd get a foot or so. So, yeah, they're not done. They're just getting warmed up. And there's live webcam at Navajo Express, Giant Steps Peak, Navajo Base, so on and so forth. I actually have not set foot on the snow this year. So, which is, well, the timing of a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm taking my kids and I are going to Hawaii this week. That's our Christmas. So we actually go Thursday. So I had a tradition of being an opening day guy. I will not touch the snow until probably the 20th. And it was the earliest 2 months the resort will have been open almost by the time I get there. So there's going to be a lot of catch up. A lot of catch up. It's going to happen. And a lot of icing my knees. Jesse Paul. Actually, my knee is very strong, but I deal with tendonitis. So there you go. Jeremy Larkin, the Larkin Group. And Jesse, tell us where you've been. Speaking of jet setting.
I just got back from a 14-day cruise. It was the Panama Canal cruise.
Oh, you did.
Incredible. Incredible.
Ended up in Toquerville.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Now it's epic.
Yeah.
They did that in the early 1900s, blew my mind. Well, when it was finished, it was actually started in the late 1800s.
I mean, listen, dude, when you go back, by the way, are you muted?
I am not.
Well, so, okay, so who's supposed to be muted?
You are.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. That's why you're getting echoes. I think we had multiple microphones on. So thanks, McKinnon, for that. By the way, McKinnon Hansen, Farm Bureau Insurance, and also with the Larkin Group, amazing woman commenting this morning. She's licensed up here and helps represent us, as well as Vanessa Stratton. Welcome, Vanessa, to the team. She's an amazing woman. She's going to be helping us up here in Cedar City. We can even sell your land in Burl. We had someone, this is hilarious. We had somebody call this week, a week ago. I've got this land my father inherited from my dad. Can't you? This guy's in San Diego. He's definitely not great guy, but he's definitely not listening to the show. So he said, I don't even know if you can get to the land. I don't even know where it's at. I said, well, send me the tax ID information.
As soon as they say that, we know it's in Burl.
Yeah. And I thought, well,
Or Lund.
yeah. So here's how they find us. They Google Cedar City real estate agent, and actually they find us through Google local services. And the fun part is, if you find us through Google local services, I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to find that we have like 350 reviews, Google reviews. So we've done okay. And this guy found us that way. He literally, I asked him, he said, I Googled Cedar City real estate agent. And he came up. And so I said, let us put some eyeballs on it. So we sent Vanessa over. She's up here and I was in St. George. I was in Utah's Dixie. Yeah, I paused. You guys notice I paused because he was eating an apple and I wanted to give him time.
Yeah, sorry.
I want to give him time. So
I
anyway,
thought it was for dramatic effect.
yeah. Well,
Wouldn't it?
that's called the power of pause in sales. So when this is so fun, I didn't even think I'd tell the story, but it's so great for this show. He's like, yeah, I said, who's involved? Well, my brother's involved. And, we're just going to take the money into the family trust and blah, blah. I said, great, let's find out. You know what the property's worth? $6,000.
You say 5,000.
Wow.
Good luck, dude. Listen, by the way, we actually have a minimum fee. We wouldn't even deal with that for less than probably $2,000. We can't.
Yeah, it costs us more in gas.
Yeah, and fuel
down
and
to rural.
handling it and dealing with signage and deploying it to Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Washington County MLS, Iron County MLS, Wasatch Front MLS, all the things, all the transaction management. We touch the property and $1,000 spent. So probably we'd do it for $1,995 on our side. And then an agent on the buyer side, like, it could be from Stratum Real Estate or Remax, Century 21, or any one of these great firms just here in Cedar City. They're going to want to get paid. So we have to pay them $2,000. So that's $4,000
Out of 6.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what do you want to do? So, and here's the cool part. If you're a consumer and you're going, you charge $2,000 to sell that, I certainly would. Absolutely. Because if you'd like to deal with people who are really good at what they do, and I'm not here to say that we're the only ones, there are a lot of great real estate agents in Cedar.
Yeah.
You will pay. And there's a minimum standard service. The funny thing is, my sister had knee surgery about 6 weeks ago. We saw, so she has great insurance. We saw the bills. Just the surgery, like 2 hours, this is $33,000.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know these numbers only too well.
And you know what the doctor never asks? Do you have the money? So I tell someone, hey, I'm going to charge at least $1,995 to handle this. What? Or yes. And here's the best part. You don't even have to, you know the best part? You don't even have to pay me anything. What do I mean? Sellers don't write checks. How do sellers get paid, Jesse?
It comes out of the sale.
You didn't even write a check or anything.
It's just part of the deal.
Correct. It's the greatest. Honestly, I do think commissions can be a lot of money. And I still think it's the greatest gig in the world. And here's the gig. You're going to come out to my property. Regardless of the hours, you're going to take 1,800. Let's take the Larkin Group. We're going to take 18 years. That's my experience. How long have you been in it?
10 years.
Okay, that's 28 years. And we add it all up, it's hundreds of years. 1,800 transactions of professionalism and expertise. Think of all the nuances we understand about a contract. And you're going to show up. You're going to do all of the work to help me prep my home, help me price my home. You're going to do all of the marketing upfront for free. And if you sell it, you're going to get a commission. And I'm not even going to write you a check. It's just going to come out of closing. Right. It's the greatest gig in. When you look at it that way, it's actually incredible for the seller. So, sellers, Jesse has a message today, and it's that we think the market might have stabilized up here.
Yeah, it looks like it has.
Do you want to share your screen and walk them through this?
No, I sent that to you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I saw that in my inbox. I was going to give you the board. Okay. So what's Jesse, while I'm opening this up, what's been happening in the last 6 months? And
So in the last 6 months, we've seen the median home price drop month over month, every month, except for
ouch,
in
every month.
October and November.
And same down 45 minutes down.
Yeah, well, actually clear across the country, this has been going on.
And Salt Lake,
The market has been reacting to interest rates.
Mhm.
Every time the interest rates went up,
Right.
we felt it in the local market.
Yeah, you know what?
In what buyers not in we you want to say what they're willing to pay, but really is it what they're able to pay?
Correct.
Because at the current rate, even with, well, a good example is down there at Desert Ridge. We were a good, 80 grand lower than the peak, and still the payment was $400 more.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so values drop in the subdivision we're marketing, right? We work with developers and builders. We actually have a whole builder services division. We end up getting the prices down 80 grand on a $500,000 townhome. Guys, that's a massive drop.
And the payment
Was still
more.
higher. Listen to this. You want to hear the math on this?
Yes.
440 is like what our interior units are now. They're down 15% from the peak. And with a 15% drop in the asking price, the payment at 7% interest rate was still higher than when we were charging $515. So Jesse said that the market's been reacting to interest rates. Have you guys ever been on a walk?
Yeah.
So yes. Okay, cool. You ever been hiking like a Scouts? Sure. Have you ever been walking and felt a boulder in your shoe?
Yeah.
Only to find out the boulder was a microscopic pebble.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what interest rates are.
Yeah,
You're like, they went up from 3 to 4. Like, how could that be that big of a deal?
it's a big deal.
Yeah. It was that little pebble
The 3 to 4.
that you got out of Canaryville Falls at first. And you're walking and talking like, I'll stop and get it out later.
Yeah.
But by the time you take it out, you're thinking, why didn't I take it out 2 miles ago?
Right.
That is the effect of a small interest rate increase on the real estate market.
Yeah,
It's a big deal.
it really is. So when we say has it stabilized, so the last 2 months, it seems to have stabilized and actually come back just a little bit. But that could be because interest rates 60 days ago went up to, I believe, 6.5. Then they dropped back into the
7.5%.
60 days ago. Or was that? Okay,
A
a
month
month
ago, they
ago.
were over 7%.
So that's where I think you're going to be correct in 2 months of data is too soon to say it's stabilized. But for now, it seems to have. We'll have to see because the contracts will have coming up in the next 30 to 60 days will be the contracts that actually went under contract when it was at 7.5.
Yeah.
So, and 60 days ago, we seen a little stabilization of interest rates. It went to 6.5 and then it dropped back down to 5.5 for a minute.
So let me share something with you to what Jesse's talking, because the dude's actually pretty smart, even if it looked like I picked him up off the freeway.
Yeah, you can't ever judge a book by its cover. You've got to open.
But this is literally a never. So right here in this column, and if you're watching on Facebook, you'd have to be watching this at facebook.com/Jeremy. So the median home price, let me just give you some samples. January 2021 in Iron County was $325,000. By January 2022, it was $416,000. Guys, the median home price was 90 grand higher in January of 22 than 20.
Yeah.
Let me give you the months that would really blow your mind.
Okay.
They have an emoji for that. It's where the guy's head is exploding.
Mhm.
February 22, Jesse. What was the increase of the median home price in Iron County from February 21 to 22?
42%.
No, I want a number.
Oh, from 302,000,
No, I want the difference.
127,000.
This is great training for our team.
Yeah.
Does 42% sound like a lot, or does
Yeah.
$127,000 sound a lot?
127,000 sounds like a lot.
It's a big difference.
That's what he just didn't know where I was going. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I never knew this one.
Jesse, what about June? What was that number?
June, the difference was 134,232.
Wish you owned a home, bought a home back then. Guys,
So this is what's interesting to me.
no, here's where he's going with this. By the way, what was the month that you say stabilized?
And stabilization was November.
So we were
with a $36,000 difference year over year.
484, 439, 425, 410. You're like, oh, values are falling. 422, and then in November, 450.
So the last 2 months, it has risen a
Okay,
little
go
bit. What's interesting to me though, even though we had 6 straight months of a decelerating market, year over year, we're still up by 19%.
Correct.
So,
Can you put that in dollars?
well,
It's in dollars.
it's
in
70,000, well, 70,000 if you look at, the total year.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you take all of the depreciation that happened so far this year
And
And-
the appreciation.
and subtract it from the appreciation,
Mhm.
the whole year, your home
You're
value is still 70 grand higher in Iron County than it was 12 months.
That's actually amazing.
And by the way, if we had it 24 months, it would be like 130.
Mhm.
So Jesse, over the last 30 years, you know the answer to this. If anyone has owned a home at least 10 years of any of the last 30, are they positive or negative?
They're positive. In a 10-year period, they've always been positive. Based on where they bought it at and where they're gonna sell it.
Guys, the gamble of homeownership just isn't a gamble. And the reason why is, okay, the average, let me share another piece of data that could, you're gonna want to get out that emoji again, the head exploding emoji. The average net worth, let me share that.
That's a good one.
So Jeremy Larkin here, Larkin Group, KW Realty, with my right hand man, Jesse Paul, net worth American. Okay. The average net worth of Americans. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So the median net worth, there it is 121,700. The median, that was the number. 121,700. The average net worth or median net worth of a homeowner is 238.
Oh, wow.
And it was median net worth is what Ben said. So here's what I'm getting at for a minute. Home ownership is not a gamble.
Yeah.
The gamble is, am I going to buy a home in the short term and fiddle around?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm going to move in. There's a home sitting up around my corner. I've talked about it before. That was a big pro. And every time Max and I walked by it this morning, twice, Max the tripod, and it still has all the visqueen in the windows because they got ready to paint it 12 months ago. And I keep saying, I've got to write them a letter and offer.
Yeah.
They've been sitting on this home for a year. They bought it like a year ago and put everything up like they're going to paint it. And then no one's ever moved into it. I've never seen a human being since.
That's good.
Wow.
And I realized that I wish I owned it. I wish I would have just paid. I didn't want to pay $350 for it at the time. I wish. So, because I would have held it for a really long time. I bought a historic vacation rental on Main Street in St. George that I'm sure I paid 50 grand over what I probably should have based on where values were going. But I bought it to hold for the next 2 decades.
Right.
Right?
No, absolutely. I understand that.
So Jesse, I want you to give me a synopsis. The current data says that the market has stabilized.
Yep. It looks that way to me.
And then the question we're asking is,
Has it really? Has it really stabilized? Now, I think the next 60 days will tell us because we're facing a period now where the homes that are currently under contract
correct,
went under contract when the interest rates went up over 7. So we could see that number come back. Because when it hit 7.5, 35, 40 days ago, see, those homes haven't closed yet. So we don't know. And when these closed, when these ones went under contract September and October, and November, that's when the interest rates came back a little bit. They adjusted to under 6.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's hard to say, but
Well, yeah,
it's better to look at it this way than just to look at it overall. Because if you look at it overall, year over year, we're like, oh my gosh, it's a crazy seller's market. Well, hold on, because we're still seeing as many price reductions as new listings. No longer are we seeing
Correct.
more, but it's almost the same.
people, yeah, and just kind of fun, quick data as we walk out of here. We just closed our 200th transaction.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
87 buyers. We've helped 87 families buy, 113 families sell. Right now, we have property under contract in Cedar City, Enterprise. Or we're working on Cedar City. We have multiple contracts out. Enterprise,
St. George.
Washington City, St. George, Green Valley area, everywhere.
But not,
People-
but
people-
not Borough.
No,
No,
not today.
not today.
People are buying and selling.
They are.
Right? Jesse, thank you for pulling that data. This guy is a data nerd and it matters. And I'll leave you with this. If you ever feel like, oh, my realtor, all she ever does is tells me about the data. It's because it matters.
It matters a lot.
It matters a lot because your home, you know, the cabinets that you and your wife put in your closet that you were certain added 50 grand in value, mainly because your marriage almost ended while you were
Right.
putting the cabinet in. They didn't add any value. The data matters more than the near divorce that you had when you decided to paint the nursery. Jeremy Larkin, Jesse Paul, over and out.
Realize